Hello, everyone, and welcome to NBA for January 24th. And as you can see, the odds are on the screen. And we're going to go over these odds real quick, which way they're going to move, possibly, which way the costs are going to move for the spread and the totals as well as the numerological value for each one. But yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start with Washington versus Charlotte. Plus 370 for Washington, minus 480 for Charlotte. And we're going to go over where the splits are. Let's go over where the splits are. Okay. 84% here on the betting going with Charlotte. 63% going with Charlotte at home on the money. Now, minus 480 for Charlotte on the money line. You have to look at, when you have a massive home favorite, you have to go with what is going on with the underdog versus what's going on with the high value, basically, of the favorite determines who wins these games by which way they go with these odds. Now, if this minus 480 continues to fluctuate throughout the day, let's say especially as we approach game time, let's say this goes around 78% the betting on the money line. The money stays about this, let's say the money increases to about 65, 66%. Then you would have to consider, is Washington a possibility to win this game? Because the more and more the value goes up for a home favorite, especially, and they're going to get most of the money. People are going to bet on them more. The chances they're going to win actually decreases unless there's a narrative behind them winning. A lot like Oklahoma City did yesterday. But this plus 370, minus 480 for Charlotte. Look out for what happened with the Charlotte's odds. If Washington goes to plus 350, then you have to look elsewhere and go with the home favorite. If the 370 goes down, that is, then you'll have to look at, okay, we could go with the home team. If you want to go with the home team easily, or you're hoping to go with the home team, you would hope the odds will go down. Spread, 10.5 points favoring Charlotte at home, minus 110 even on the cost. 56 and 51% going with Charlotte. Minus 110, they expect that to cover. Over 50% expect that to cover. As it currently stands, that will more than likely happen if Charlotte were to win this game. Obviously, if you went with Washington on the money line, you would go with them on the spread because they're an underdog. Over under 233.5, minus 110 even there. Over 73%, 76% on the money. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Over 233.5, minus 110 there. Okay. 76%. What you want to look for is any change in the cost. As it currently stands, join the public and go with that over 233.5. But if the under were to take the value of anything less than this minus 110, especially as a major favorite on the over, go with that under. Let's say they go down to minus 108 or minus 104, which means the over would go to minus 112 or minus 118, something like that. Then you would go with the over if it stays the same. If not, take that under. All right, Knicks versus 76ers. Minus 110 money line for the Knicks. Philadelphia, minus 106. So this is a pick'em game. 1 point favorites are the Knicks on the road at minus 105 cost, the sweet spot. Minus 115 cost on the 76ers. Now, too many times I've seen early in the day, especially with the spreads, where it flips by game time. So, in other words, the Knicks would be minus 115 and the 76ers would be minus 105. So, that could happen here. This is a pick'em game, so this can go either way. But whichever one goes to that higher negative late, executes the higher negative late, that's the one you would pick in this game. Over, under 228.5, minus 114 going over, minus 106 going under. 79 and 78% going with the over, betting to money. And in this instance, now you got to look out, that's minus 114, minus 106 early in the day. Normally, the minus 106s hit slightly more. The minus 114s hit slightly more than the minus 106s. Negative 106s, slightly more. It's about 52.48, something like that, 53.47%. In this instance, I would join the public and go with that over only if I see them not go to minus 110 or less on the over. If they go down on that over and they're still holding over 70-75 percentile, which they are right now, I would fade the public in that instance. But if they maintain that over, that 228.5 minus 114 cost, over that minus 110 even, go with the over. Any other way, take the under. Now let me scroll down. Golden State versus the Timberwolves. All right. Plus 184 for the Warriors, minus 220 for Minnesota on the money line. Let's see where the splits are. Let me scroll down here. Scroll down. All right. 74% going with Minnesota on the betting, 71% going with Minnesota on the money line. Minus 220. Now, normally these would be quote unquote easy picks. These types of games. Not a massive home favorite, but they are a favorite. As long as Minnesota holds that over minus 200 or minus 210 value, they're going to take this one relatively easy, and seen it happen too many times. If they dip below that while still holding a significant advantage on the splits, then you would have to consider going with Golden State if this minus 106 here turns into either minus 112 or higher, over minus 110, negative 110, and the naturally the favorite on the spread, 6-point favorite Timberwolves, decrease below that minus 110 or at 110. Any other way, go the opposite. Over under 234.5. A lot of minus 110, negative 110s so far. Sorry about that. 71.69 going with the over. Now, not the massive favorites that you've seen in the NBAs, especially on the overs here lately. Unders have been taking a lot of the games here lately, but the overs could definitely take in this one. Minus 110 even here. As it currently stands, I will go with that over, but let's say the total goes to 232.5. And it goes to minus 112 on the under. Then you would take that under. Or minus 105 on the under. The sweet spots are plus 100, minus 105, minus 112, minus 120. Those are the hot numbers when it comes to totals, especially. So keep that in mind when you approach game time. If you bet late, to pick that number in that value, the cost that is on that, whichever one goes to those values, they win more so than not. So just letting you know that. All right, Cleveland versus Orlando. Minus 102 for Cleveland, minus 116 for Orlando. And let's see where the 1-point favorite. So it's a pick'em game. 1-point underdogs are the Cleveland Cavaliers at minus 114 cost, minus 106 going with the Magic as a 1-point favorite. Let's see where the splits are. Minus 116 going with Orlando. Okay. 66. Okay, yeah, people looking to cash out that Cleveland pick. And more than likely that will hold. But easy pick here. If Cleveland goes to that higher negative here, they're going to take this one. Let's say this flips. Minus 116 Cleveland, minus 102 for Orlando. Pick Cleveland on the road. As it currently stands, I would still pick Cleveland on the road. Only because I've seen this fluctuate too many times, especially with NBA as you approach the game time. Minus 116 could easily flip up here, or at least a higher negative could flip to the road favorite on the splits. So be careful of that. And then minus 114, hopefully that can hold. More than likely, if it does, pick Cleveland across the board. Over 227.5, minus 110 cost even, same as the under. On the cost, that is 70 and 65% going with the over in this one. I would challenge that and fade the public and go with that under in this instance. Only if the over does not go to the minus 105. If the over goes to the negative 105, I would take the over. If not, any other way, I'm going with the under in this game. All right, another pick'em game. Minus 112 here for Boston. minus 104 for Chicago on the cost, minus 112 for Boston. All right. More than likely, this will not fluctuate as people are going to favor Boston a little bit more. 1 point favorites are the Celtics on the road at minus 106 cost. Minus 112 going with Boston. Look out for which one. Now, in this game, when you know a favorite on the road, okay, 62% and 54%, not a significant favorite. Obviously, if you see Chicago go to the higher negative, pick Chicago. But as it currently stands, Boston can still take this even if they are in the lower negative, if and only if they significantly have the numbers here because of this 67% betting here. Even though they're only getting 42% of the money, that can easily change. But people putting heavier money on Boston on the spread than they are on the money line. And thus, you will want to go with the higher negative on the money line if Chicago has the higher negative. If Boston has the higher negative, go with Boston. Any other way, go with Chicago. Over under 230.5, minus 106 cost going over, minus 114 going under. And I would go with the minus 106 will challenge that and take that 76% and 78%. No, 76 and 76% right now. So that would be, I would go with the higher, I would go with the over, 230.5 and join the public in that instance. Let me see. Lakers versus Mavericks. Is this okay, we got one more game. Okay. All right. 2 more games. Lakers versus Mavericks. Minus 164 for the Lakers on the money line, plus 138 for the Mavericks. Let's see where the money is going in this one. Let me scroll down a little bit. All right. 68 and 80% going with the Lakers on the road. Minus 164. Looks like a decent pick. They are above that minus 150 threshold. More than likely in this game, considering they are only 4-point favorites, minus 106. If they were the higher negative, I could easily say, currently that is, but more than likely that can flip. The spreads flip so often. But the minus, especially before game time of an NBA game, minus 164 for the Lakers can easily become an easy pick in this one if LA has that higher negative. Let's say this goes to minus 112, Lakers 4-point favorites on the spread, to minus 112 cost instead of minus 106 where it is now. Easy pick for the Lakers across the board. But as it currently is, considering the Mavericks are getting almost half of the money, despite only getting 35% of the betting, people putting heavy money on the Mavericks and they have that higher negative, you could go with the Lakers on the money line and the Mavericks on the spread in this one, only as it currently looks. Over under 232.5, minus 112 cost, minus 110 cost on both. Even 66 and 65. 66% and 65%. Over to under. 66 on the over, 65% on the under. No, excuse me. 66% on the betting, 65% on the money. Excuse me, said that wrong. I would join the public and go with that over in this game. Miami Heat versus Utah Jazz. Minus 260 for the Heat, plus 215 for Utah. So, as you can see the dramatic difference here. 63% betting going with Miami, 64% money going with Utah. Now, 64% money going with Utah. That is significant in this game. A lot of people expecting Utah to win this game. And this may be one of those games you might want to pick the underdog and cash that out. They are 7-point underdogs and minus 110 cost. Miami is a 7-point favorite on the spread. 71% going with on the money, going with Utah, and 59% betting going with Utah on the spread. If Utah goes to that higher negative as we approach game time, pick Utah to win across the board. Easy pick. Just base it. If Utah continues to have a significant advantage on the money line. If they go to the higher negative here on the spread, that is a cash out for the sports books here. You get this money here, and you can cash out here. The sports books can cash out on the spread. More than likely, you're going to have that balance. Utah will more than likely take this at plus 215. Over, under 246.5. Super high. Super high total. Super high total. And the total has increased. It was 244. I think opening was actually 242. It was 244. Now it's 246. They're increasing those odds to get you to go. More than likely, people are going to start to take that under. As you can see, this is starting to change. 51% and 54% going to take that under. That will go significantly higher. It might go to over 70%, especially since that total is so high. If you see that total go, which will go higher, if you see the total go to a different cost on that under, that minus 114 here turns into a different value, take that over. Lean toward the over and fade the public in that total. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Pray every day. Join the Patreon. All the picks will be on there. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Pray every day. I've been Scott. Take it easy.